Alright, so Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantamania has released in theaters this weekend, and I haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to see it for a couple more weeks. There's something going on in my family, but it's very much preventing me from going to the movies and all that stuff, something that I'm not going to share on the internet. But I have to make my 5 predictions, my 5 theories, what will happen in this movie. And I know this is going to be a bit rough because the movie already released. I could have seen so many spoilers, but for once, in a Marvel movie, I have not seen any spoilers. I do not know a single thing that is going to happen in this movie besides MODOK is in it. That is it. I don't know anything. And so these are just my honest guesses. But before I turn into mine, please go ahead and go down below. Tell me your 5 or whatever your theories are for this movie if you haven't seen it. If you have seen it, please do not comment on this video. Do not spoil the movie because I still really want to see it and I'm not going to get a chance to for a while. But with that said, subscribe. And with that said, number 5. I believe that there is a big possibility that Kang is going to team up with himself in this movie to set up for Avengers Kang Dynasty. Now, the reason I feel this way is because, I don't know, I think it's because this movie's an Ant-Man movie. It's a movie about Ant-Man, the hero who, so far in this universe, has helped defeat Thanos, but, didn't really contribute to that besides the time travel part. He fought Yellow Jacket, who had the same powers as him, and he fought someone who could face through walls and a couple of gang members. That is literally all he has fought, and now he's going into the multiverse to fight Kang, and apparently, if he doesn't die, he defeats Kang and gets away? What? So if Ant-Man can defeat this Kang alone, what's Kang's big threat going to be for the Avengers in Kang Dynasty? What are the Avengers, what are their big threat here in this universe? And what I'm saying, I'm not saying that Ant-Man wins. That's actually my number 1 is Ant-Man doesn't win, but we'll talk about that when we get there. But what if Ant-Man wins this one? What's making Kang not team up with all of his other selves if he can just lose to Ant-Man? So I think he's going to team up with his other selves, maybe in the post-credit scene, maybe not. But he's going to team up with his other selves and start trying to conquer the entire world. Not only one world, but the entire multiverse and everything. I feel like that's a good plotline for Kang to do. And that's going to kind of lead into the Secret Wars and all that, where we get into all this multiverse. We get the other variants of all the characters. And we just turn this into a giant, massive, universal war against Kang. Number 4, kind of on the same page. This variant of Kang dies, and all of the other Kangs have to avenge his death by trying to conquer the entire universe. Now, again, no inside information. I don't really know. But I also feel like this Kang, if he loses the Ant-Man, has the potential of dying. I feel like if he walks away from this alive, he's going to team up with his other Kangs. If he doesn't, all the other Kangs, he will probably have already teamed up with the other Kangs. So all the other Kangs are trying to avenge his death by going after Ant-Man and all that. Now, again, this one's a bit more far-fetched from the first one. I don't necessarily think that this one is all that going to happen as much as the last one is. But I don't really know. If Ant-Man has a chance of defeating him, I feel like Kang will die in this. If Ant-Man doesn't die, then I believe that this Kang will die, and the main Kang will just be another Kang from another universe. That's just how I feel. I feel like it's either going to be this Kang or another Kang. It doesn't. I don't really know which Kang it's going to be. Number 3, Ant-Man dies and Cassie becomes Stinger, which is her superhero name. And originally this was my number 1, but after the movie actually came out and everyone's reviews weren't talking about the ending, I just assume that Ant-Man survives. I don't really think that Ant-Man really dies or anything, unless, everyone's just being super quiet about it or anything. Am I ruling it out as a possibility? I am not. I do think that there is a possibility that Scott could still die. Do I think it's going to happen? No, not really, especially after the reviews came out. But if he does, then Cassie's going to finally become Stinger. and become the new Ant-Man. Like, she'll escape from the quantum realm and become the new Ant-Man of the Avengers. But even if Scott doesn't die, I still feel like she will transcend into Stinger. She'll go to the Avengers. She'll become her own superhero like she wanted to. I feel like that's what she'll do with the character. And even though Catherine Newton doesn't look too great in this role, and I probably won't like that, I still think that's a good idea to bring in Stinger into the MCU, something that we've been teased for a long time. I feel like they'll do that no matter if Scott dies or not. I don't really think Scott's going to die. I still think that Cassie will become Stinger, though. Number 2, the final battle will consist of Ant-Man's versus Kang's. Now, I know that I'm fairly sure that the final battle will consist of at least a bunch of Ant-Mans banding together. Like, all the Ant-Man variants banding together where Kang just brutally massacres nearly all of them. I have a feeling that will be a plotline that they bring on. I'm not sure much about the Kangs, but how cool would it be if it's just a bunch of the Ant-Man variants versus the Kang variants? Now, for a fact, I really, really hope that they do bring in the Ant-Man variants. Like, we have so many Ant-Man variants we can use. We got Eric O'Grady. We can have, like, the young Hank Pym. We can have, like, Fire Ant. We can have the Yellow Jacket of Hank Pym. We can have so many versions of Ant-Man bringing into this movie, and this is just the perfect opportunity to do that. Now, with all the reviews saying this doesn't feel like an Ant-Man movie, do I really think they really are going to do that? Still, yeah. I really think that that's going to happen. I really think that they can bring in all these other Ant-Mans. Do I think it's going to happen, though? No. I really think they could. I really think there's a possibility, but upon further inflection, I'm just like, okay, we haven't really been hearing anything about this, so are they going to do it? No, probably not. Do I wish they would do it? Do I really want them to do it? Absolutely. I think that would be a fantastic idea. I just really don't think they're going to do it. But how cool would that be if it's just a bunch of those Ant-Man variants going up against Kang? You know that we got all the Loki variants, so we can very well get Ant-Man variants. I have my fingers crossed that that will happen in this film. But number 1, my most obvious and probably the safest prediction I have for this movie is that the whole gang is going to get trapped in the quantum realm. And by trapped in the quantum realm, I mean that they can't get out. They might defeat Kang, they might get away from Kang, but they cannot get out of the quantum realm. And so they will probably have to send a signal up to the Avengers. Or maybe even they're stuck in the quantum realm and Kang gets out and goes, and that's how they start the big war against the Avengers. I just know for a fact, not for a fact, but I really believe that they will keep Ant-Man and the whole gang in the quantum realm again and they'll just try to gather the Avengers and try to send a signal to the Avengers, and that this movie is definitely going to be a bridge. I've heard it's a lot of setup for the other Avengers movies. It's just totally going to set up the other Avengers movies, find a way to try to get Ant-Man out, and Kang will probably escape. I don't really know. Like I said, I haven't really heard any spoilers about this movie. I've seen a lot of reviews, but no spoiler reviews. But I'm just so excited to see this movie. I know that it's the second movie with a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes. I know that it seems like it'll just be a lot of setup and not an Ant-Man movie. I'm fine with that. If they nail Kang, if they nail the action, if they nail what they have at their hand, they're dealt a great hand with this movie. They can have many variants of Ant-Man. They can have many variants of Kang. They got Kang. If they don't bring in variants of Ant-Man, I'm going to be severely disappointed. They have every ounce that they can with this movie. Every single great card in the book that they can to make a fantastic movie. Are they going to make a fantastic movie? I really hope they do. From what I've been hearing, they're not. But I'm going to go see this movie in a couple of weeks. I'm not necessarily sure when. But before I do, I'm going to need you guys to subscribe to the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below. What is your predictions of Ant-Man and the Wasp? If you've seen it already, make sure to comment down below. What do you think of the movie? No spoilers, though. And with that said, I got plenty of videos coming up. And make sure to subscribe to join the Nerd Army. Peace out.